My entitled daughter wanted her stepdad to walk her down the aisle instead of me, so I refused to pay for her wedding. When my daughter was 16, her mother cheated on me and married the man she cheated with. I hated my ex-wife with the passion at the time and wanted to get as far away from her, but I didn't. I wanted my daughter to grow up in a normal environment and not surrounded by hate everywhere. So I split custody with my ex-wife and made sure my daughter's mental health wouldn't be affected. We never told her about the cheating as a way to protect her. My ex's new husband quickly became her stepdad and I didn't have a problem with it. Whenever my daughter would come back after spending time at their house, I would just be happy that she had fun. She would tell me how much fun her new stepdad was and that she loved him, which was cute in my opinion. I still had to work a lot of hours, but I made sure to spend proper time with her. For her 17th birthday, I chipped in with her mom and got her a new car. I do make more money than her and her husband, so I paid more than her, but it wasn't a big deal. She absolutely loved it and thanked her mom for it. I thought it was a bit weird that she didn't offer me a thank you, even though we both had paid for it, but I didn't dwell on it. After she turned 18, she began spending more and more time at her mom's house. But I had trusted her in the way I had raised her to make her own adult decisions. As a result, she got a lot of independence from my side and basically did what she wanted. I didn't maintain friendly contact with her mom outside of what my daughter was doing, so I don't know how she spent her time there. But little did I know, I was allowing my ex-wife to steal my daughter away. Anyway, I helped her get into the best college in our city and fully paid her tuition so she wouldn't have to get a job. That way she could focus on her academics or whatever it was that she wanted to do in life. Looking back, there was once again a lack of gratitude from her side, but I never really asked for a thanks. I did what I did because I wanted to. She is 26 now, living in her own house, and was just proposed to by the love of her life, whom she luckily met in college. I was so happy for her and called her to congratulate her. During that call, I also offered to pay for her wedding because it was going to be her special day. I knew her now fiancé was a good man and that he would take good care of her, so I wanted to give her away in style. She was very excited to hear that and said that I just made her even more happy. She began planning a destination wedding in Italy with the large budget that I had provided. But then a couple of days later, she called me to tell me the worst news of my life. She wanted her stepdad to walk her down the aisle instead of me. I obviously didn't agree to it and asked her why. I loved her a lot and wanted to do this for her, and she had absolutely no reason to walk with another man. But she began telling me that it is not a big deal and it's just something that he wants to do. I said I also want to do it and that I also have the right to do it since I'm her actual father. She began screaming at me, telling me to calm down even though I didn't raise my voice. She said that it was her choice and that she decided on her stepdad and that I didn't have a say in it. I didn't hear anything after that because my mind had shut down. I just put the phone down and desperately tried to hold back my tears. I had no idea why she would do this. I gave her everything and made sure she was happy and never neglected. Heck, I even kept in contact with the woman who broke my heart. I got a text from my ex-wife calling me a horrible person and that I was ruining my daughter's wedding by making unreasonable demands. I screenshotted it and sent it to my daughter, thinking that she would apologize for what her mother had said. But to my shock, she agreed with that statement and that I should leave her alone. So in her mind, me asking to be her dad was an unreasonable demand. After a few more hours of crying, my eyes had really opened and I had come to a decision. I decided that I would no longer be paying for the wedding. I knew that they would not be able to afford a destination wedding without my support. But I didn't care. My daughter didn't seem to want me there at all, so why would I pay for something that I can't even attend? But after I sent that text, my phone began blowing up. My ex was suddenly very apologetic about her behavior. My daughter began saying that she didn't mean what she said and that it was all a joke. She said that of course I can walk her down the aisle if I still agree to pay for her wedding in Italy. However, I just texted her this. Don't worry, I don't want to buy your love with money. I will leave you alone just like you wanted. That was the last message I sent her and a few weeks passed by. Of course, she and her mother kept texting me saying that I'm a horrible person for backing out of paying like that. Some texts made me laugh though, so I never blocked them. They even got other family members and friends to text me and ask me to take back my words, but I ignored everyone. And today, I finally replied to my daughter's countless texts. I uploaded a selfie on Instagram with my new yacht in Monaco with the caption, "Oops, all of the wedding budget was blown on this baby. Guess I'm not invited anymore."
If you ever feel embarrassed about something that you've done on a date, I want you to know that one time I went on a date and the guy did that thing of like, I have a friend to meet after, in case it was going bad, except he really did have a friend to meet after and he invited me to go hang out with them. And I was like, oh, sure. But on the walk over, I was kind of like, no, like this has been a good date, but I don't want to like meet your friend right now. Well, I'll meet them, but like, I don't want to hang out with them. Like maybe we'll do a second date or something like that, right? Except I said all of that up here. I didn't communicate any of that out loud. And so when we get to meet the friend, right, I'm like, oh, this is when I'm going to leave. This is the perfect time. Also, my train stop was like literally across the street. So I'm like, oh, how convenient. I honestly could not tell you what was going on in my body, but I saw my train station, the light turned to walk, and I started to cross the street. And it wasn't until I was halfway across the street that I hear faintly in the background, "Oh, okay, bye." And it's in that moment that my mind decides to realize I have not communicated any of this, right? Also, I'm now standing in the middle of the street. The lights turn to red. I'm about to get hit by a taxi. So I scurry back, right, dodging traffic. I'm frantically searching in my mind for what I'm going to say because I literally just bounced. I in-person ghosted, not on purpose. So what do I say? "Oh my God, hi." What? What? Girl, I almost passed out. I almost passed out right there after I said that. He was like, "Hey." That's why I was like, you know what? I just have to be honest. I have to be honest. I said something about like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was like on autopilot, saw my train, you know." He was like, "Oh, that's okay." Gave him the most awkward hug and bounced. So, you know, don't feel embarrassed. Really, don't feel embarrassed.
When I was 18 years old in college, I was friends with this Chad type character. I didn't know he was a Chad yet. We would just study together. He always came off as a super nice guy. And then the school year ended and we both went home to visit our families for the summer. And he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to go out on a date with you." And I thought, well, that's weird because you lived like right across the street from me for 6 months and didn't ask me out. And now you live 2 hours away. And I told him, I was like, you know, I'd be down to go out with you. It just doesn't make sense because you're so far away. And he said, well, what if I drive to you? And I was like, all right, if you want to do that, I'm down. Because I was medium interested in him. I didn't not like him. I didn't like him, but I was like, hey, that's what dates are for. You get to know somebody better. Maybe he'll surprise me. And he did in the worst possible way, because the first thing he did was he reached out to me and he said, hey, I Googled your hometown. It doesn't seem like there's much to do there. Could you plan the whole date since you're local and you know what's around town? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I made him a list and I sent him the list and I said, do any of these things look good to you? And he was like, anything looks amazing as long as I get to spend time with you, smiley face. And I was like, gross, have an opinion. But then I said, you know what? I would like to go on a hike and go for a picnic. Does that sound good to you? And he said, that sounds amazing, smiley face. So then it's the night before the date. I'm scrolling through social media. He has hard launched a girlfriend and I wasn't hurt by it, but I just thought that's weird. Like, why hasn't he canceled our date? This must be a new development, obviously. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, I guess our date's off for tomorrow. And he said, oh my God, why? Why would it be off? And I was like, because you have a girlfriend, dude. And he said, oh, I was going to tell you about that. No, she's totally cool with us hanging out together because you're my friend and you were my friend in college before and nothing romantic ever happened. So we're just like going for a hike and it's casual and it's cool and we're just going to be hanging out as friends. And I was so naive. I hadn't really wrapped my head around the concept of cheating yet because it's just not my brand of emotionally mature. Obviously he was being so shady, but I don't know. I thought people were good and I thought that he was good. And so I was like, okay, you can come visit me as a friend. So he shows up on my doorstep the next morning and he's dressed like a British actor for the cover of Vogue. He had hard, shiny shoes on and a little vest. And I was like, oh, do you not want to go hiking today? Because we can totally pivot our plans. And he said, no, I can hike in this. You think I can hike in this? And I was like, no, man. We get in the car, we drive over to a fun-sized mountain. I drive him straight to the top where the lookout points are because I really don't believe that he can hike in the clothes that he's wearing. And once we get to the top, I'm looking out at the water, the islands, the trees, and I go, it is so beautiful up here. And he said, not really. And I said, what? And he said, you forget that I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so this kind of stuff just doesn't impress me. And I was like, well, you don't walk like somebody from the Pacific Northwest? Because in order to get to these lookout points, we had to go down some little trails. And he kept falling down and stumbling. And I was like, hey, man, are you okay? After he'd stumbled for like the 4th time. And he had an attitude about it. He said, yeah, I'm fine, as he's dusting off his corduroys. He was like, I just didn't know that I had to be a mountain goat to go out with you. And I said, okay, first of all, we're not going out because we agreed that this was just friend time because you have a girlfriend. And this little people pleaser in my brain was like, well, maybe we'll just go down to the beach. There's a paved walkway there and then we can have our picnic. And I told him that and he said, that sounds amazing. He got really excited. We go down to the beach. I go to grab the picnic basket out of the car and he said, no, I'll carry it. I'm a gentleman. And I was like, you could have fooled me, buddy. And so we walk about 100 feet and he starts complaining that he's tired. And I was like, well, then let's have our picnic now. So we walk over to the beach. We're sitting on the beach. Now, when I packed the picnic, I reached out to him and I said, hey, do you have any foods that you like, don't like, any allergies? What do you want in the picnic? And he said, anything you pack is going to be amazing. And I was like, cool. So I'll just pack everything that I like. I packed sandwiches. I packed fruit. I packed a couple slices of the all-American 7-layer chocolate Costco cake. And I packed so many beverages because I'm a beverage girly. I need options. And I start inhaling this food and he tells me that he's not very hungry. And then he looks out at the water and he looks over at me and he goes, this should be and is so romantic. If only I didn't have a girlfriend. And I said, through a mouthful of hoagie sandwich, did you know that there are shark-eating octopuses in these waters? And he went, excuse me? And I said, yeah, so at the Seattle Aquarium, their sharks were going missing, and they were like, that's embarrassing. How are sharks going missing? They're in a tank. And then they noticed there were shark remains at the bottom of the shark tank. And they were like, whoa, are the sharks doing battle royale at night? And so they did a little bit of a stakeout, and they put up cameras and stuff. And what they found out was that their octopus in the shark tank was hunting the sharks at night. And what I want to know is, was he actually hungry, or was he just bored? Because he lives in an aquarium. Obviously, he's getting fed all the time. But maybe, octopuses are smart, and he was in there alone. So what if he just made a sport out of shark hunting? And this jackass looked at me and went, it is so cute that you eat. Most girls don't. And I was like, gross, vomit, sick, hate this guy. Again, I don't know why I didn't send him home. It's so embarrassing. But I just kept eating, because as long as I was using my hands to shove food into my face, I wasn't using them to shove him into the water with the shark-eating octopuses. And then he said, you know why I didn't date our friend, I'm thinking of a fake name for the friend, our friend Maddie in college. Now, Maddie was like if a Cocker Spaniel puppy was a person. She was so sweet. She was so smart. And she had this huge crush on Chad. It was very obvious. He never acted on it or anything. And he said, you know why I never acted on that? And I was like, why, man? And he said, because she's too perfect. She's too amazing. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's talented. I only ask out girls who are, lower quality, because they're more my level, And I said, we should keep walking, because there are some cliffs just a half a mile down, and almost nobody slips and falls. You should go see how close you can get to one of them. And he said, a half a mile down? How far is this loop? And I said, 2 miles. And he was like, no, I'm not walking 2 miles. And I was like, well, this was kind of the agreed upon activity. So do you maybe want to go home? And he said, no, of course not. Why would I want to go home? I drove all this way to see you. And I was like, ah! And earlier in the day, he had mentioned that he'd never seen the movie Pitch Perfect. And I was like, what? That's crazy. That movie is so funny. Everybody was obsessed with it when it came out. And he was like, nope, never seen it. So then I say to him, well, do you want to go back to my place and watch Pitch Perfect? And he got so excited. And I thought, oh no, I must have oversold Pitch Perfect, because he is way too excited to go watch it. And we go back to my house. And so we're sitting on the couch. And first of all, I don't like people sitting close to me on the couch, even my own family. So whenever I'm on the couch next to someone, I pull my leg up and I kind of stick it out to force them to give me space, which is what I did to him. And I stuck my leg all the way out. Also, you can kick people with it if they get in your bubble. So the leg is all the way out. I'm in one corner of the couch. He's all the way on the other side. We're watching Pitch Perfect. My dad walks through the door. He jumps up from the couch, runs across the room, and he shakes my dad's hand, and he was like, hello, Mr. Smith, I'm Chad. And my dad was like, okay, and walked away. And then he came running back, and he sat on the couch, and he was like, I'm so nervous. That was so nerve-wracking. And I said, why? And he said, well, it's always nerve-wracking to meet the dad of the girl you like. And I was like, you can't say that. You have a girlfriend. You agreed that we were hanging out as friends. And he was like, you know what I mean. And I was like, I don't think I do. And then my mom walked through the room, and she said, hey, I'm going to pick up your brother from sports. And I was like, let me do it. And she said, oh no, I wouldn't want to put a stop to whatever this is. And I said, please, please, please let me do it, because I was hoping that if I just started running errands, he would get bored and go home. And it worked. And it's so obvious what he was trying to pull, but I didn't even realize it until I'd gone back to college and I was complaining about it and how rude he was to one of my friends. And she said, so basically this guy drove 2 hours to come hook up with you and you just kept blowing him off all day. And I was like, no, that's the thing. He didn't want to hook up. He had a girlfriend. And she was like, Kate, this seems like it's going to come as a surprise to you, but people cheat. And I was so angry that first of all, he thought that I would cheat with him. But second of all, what kind of like alpha bro shit YouTuber was he watching that he was mean to me all day and thought that I was going to hook up with him? That's crazy. He called my hometown boring and stereotypical. He called me low quality. He said that the view from my mountain wasn't pretty. He bashed on my taste in music. Like, he was not nice about a single thing all day. And again, that is like not something I would tolerate for even a minute today. And I said to my friend, I was like, that is so offensive that one, he would think that I would help him cheat, and two, he was so mean all day. Like, he could have at least pretended to be interested in my cool marine biology trivia, but no, he was just a jerk all day long. And she said, yeah, because you were basically dog sitting for another woman all day. You took him for a walk, you packed him treats, you tried to keep him from jumping on you all day.
I'm gonna tell the full story of how we met / started dating while I get ready for our date tonight, which by the way is a surprise and he won't tell me what it is. As some of you know, we did grow up in the same hometown. We didn't go to the same school, but they were close enough where we'd like play each other in sports and stuff, if that made sense. I didn't know who Brayden was when I was in school. Maybe I've heard his name once or twice through mutual friends, but I have never met him, nothing. Fast forward to my freshman year of college at University of Alabama, I was adding so many new people on Snapchat, from group chats, going to a new school, being in a sorority, and frat boys were honestly just adding any sorority girl on Snapchat. So one day, Brayden and I become friends on Snap. We talked back and forth maybe a few times, might have had a streak, nothing crazy really. It is now October, which is frat party Halloween season. Brayden asks me to be his date for the Pike Halloween costume party. I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I mean, Brayden's a grade above me, he's already a sophomore in this super cool fraternity. I'm freaking out, what am I gonna wear? Luckily, he ended up picking out the costume that we'd wear together, which was a football player and cheerleader. Got a costume together, it came in time, it worked. Luckily, all my roommates at the time were also going to this date party, so I wasn't really that nervous anymore. But that all changed right when I stepped foot in this party. Throughout the whole night, I avoided this man. Keep in mind, we're in matching costumes, and I am running in circles around this party trying not to run into him. Not to mention, I am sober as it gets. Why did I think that was a good idea? Anyways, the party starts to end, it's dying down, everybody's leaving. I finally get the courage to go up to him, say hi, we take a few pictures together in our matching costumes, and then I say, okay, I gotta go, bye, and there my Uber was waiting for me. I am not a shy person, so why couldn't I get myself to talk to this boy? I think it was cause I saw he was from my hometown, so I thought this could be my husband, we're from the same place, it's meant to be, and that's what spiked the nerves. It's now the day after the party. Remember those pictures me and him took together in our costumes? I posted those on my Instagram. Fully tagged him too, when I did not talk to this man the whole entire night. Definitely was like, this girl is a freak, she just posted this of us and didn't even speak to me the whole night. Like, why did I post that and tag him? But for some reason, he kept texting and snapping me. I have no idea why. Like, sir, I clearly can't have a conversation with you, so why are you still talking to me? I finally built up the courage and we hung out a few times throughout November and December. Came to my dorm a few times, I went to his place, we got dinner once. But once Christmas break came and COVID started happening, we kind of just stopped talking. It was the holidays, quarantine was beginning, like it kind of just died out. Not in a bad way, just kind of did. So now I'm back at Alabama, life's good, it's my sophomore year. End up getting into a relationship with a completely different boy. Yes, a boy, not a man. At this point, I kind of forgot about Brayden. I don't know, I was just living life, chilling. So me and this boy date for about a year. And that is really all I will say about that. So now it's November, my junior year at Alabama, and things are really not the best. Don't get me wrong, I had amazing friends, but how that past relationship ended really took a toll on me. It's something that I've never gone through before and would never wish upon anybody, but I will never forget about this night. Hanging out with some of my friends, we're all just chilling in one of their rooms, and one of them asks me, out of all the boys you talked to or hung out with throughout college, who's the one that's really stuck in your head? Like, one that stood out to you. Immediately, Brayden's name popped into my head. That older Pike that asked me to that freaking Halloween party my freshman year. Although the Halloween party wasn't a good start for us, all the times we hung out after that, he just felt like my best friend and my mood instantly went up anytime I was around him. But because of my past relationship, I actually didn't have Brayden on Snapchat anymore, didn't have his number, weren't mutuals on Instagram anymore. I'm sure you guys could figure that one out. After I told my friend that my answer was Brayden, she begs me to add him on Snapchat again. Of course I said no, I mean I was nervous. We haven't talked in over a year and then I just randomly unadd him on everything. That is so embarrassing. Obviously I did eventually add him again. At this point I'm home with all my family for Thanksgiving break and he adds me back one day later, which was Thanksgiving Day. Immediately, he messages me and says, glad you're back, like, in a sarcastic way. Obviously, he noticed I deleted him on everything. We're having great conversations for a few days. Then I end up asking him to my Christmas sorority party, which that was scary for me to do. It's like your first date after a horrible breakup and all that trauma from it. But he says yes, and now we're both back on campus at Alabama. Thanksgiving is over. It's now the night of the party. I have my gold sparkly dress on. I'm nervous but excited. All I wanted in that moment really was to have a good night and be be happy. This night actually changed my life. Not to be weird, but it was literally a fairy tale. After that night of the party, we were hanging out so much till it was time to go home for Christmas break. Luckily, we are from the same hometown, so we still hung out when we were home for Christmas break. Even went to the city together with one of his friends and girlfriends, so the four of us. After we went to the city together, I really started to realize that this could become real. It's been almost a month of talking and hanging out again. Our connection just kept getting stronger the longer it was. I definitely had my guard up and trust issues just because of the past relationship. I was like, all right, Darcy, you gotta suck it up, have some faith. Not every boy is the devil. Now we're both back at Alabama for school. It's mid-January, the holidays are over. The first weekend back, I invited him to go out with me and all of my friends. Just me, him, and all the girls. After seeing how well he got along with all of my friends, I knew that I was going to marry this man. We made it official on January 25th, 2022. We did do long distance for a year because Brayden graduated a year above me, but now it's January 25th, 2024, and we've been living together for months now. Things could not be better in our relationship. He is my best friend, the love of my life, literally. Everything that a girl could ask for. I just think God put him back into my life when he knew that I needed him most, and that we were always meant to be together no matter how long it took. For all my girls out there, remember, everything happens for a reason, that the right time will be the right time. Don't rush it. It's gonna come when you're least expecting it. At least that's what happened for me. I thought I was never gonna be able to trust any boy again.
I got scammed pretty bad recently, so let's be transparent about it. If you see this and you know that it's about you, know that there's no hatred in this, but I'm going to be transparent with my audience, unlike you are with yours, because that bullshit doesn't fly over here. But the TikTok algorithm has changed recently, if anyone has noticed, and it's a little bit rough. So me and one of my really good friends, who is another content creator, decided that from one of our favorite, at the time, influencer who really posts like tips and tricks for social media people, she was offering a service of personalized audits of your Instagram and your TikTok. Originally, she sells them for $228, but they were on sale for $70. We were like, perfect, let's get it. You pay it, you send over your social media platforms, and she goes through them and tells you what is working and what's not working. To say we were excited was an understatement. We were checking our emails every single day for this audit, thinking that it was going to be this holy grail, tell us what's working, tell us what's not working. And then we got the audits. And almost instantly, we had realized that we had pretty much received the exact same audit. The craziest part about that is that we are completely two different content creators. I am a beauty lifestyle influencer with a completely different audience, completely different engagement, completely different following. She is a mom in nursing school. So to receive the exact same audit was kind of shocking. It was very clear that these audits were templates that are copy and pasted, and then there's little things that are tweaked, but not tweaked enough to where it's actually about your personal platform. And I was quite shocked because prior to buying this audit, I had went through the reviews on it, and there was outstanding reviews, nothing below 4 stars. She had all 5 stars, people loved it. And then unfortunately I found out why that was the case. This is what pissed me off. After you're emailed your audit, you're also emailed this page that's like, oh, leave a review. So I left a very honest review, a very nice honest review. For business, I learned that for every negative comment you give 3 positives. So I started off the review, and I wish I had a screenshot of the review, and I'll tell you why, because the review no longer exists. You could put 2 and 2 together already. So I leave this review, I gave it 3 stars, and I said, as much as this was very, very helpful, it was kind of like upsetting that audits are copy and pasted. It did not give me the vibes that you went to my profile and watched my videos and went through my analytics and the algorithm for me, and then broke down what specifically wasn't working for me. Didn't say anything hateful, I simply stated the truth. So after posting that review, I want to say within an hour to 2 hours, I received an email from the girl. I have the email, I don't know if I want to put this in here though, but it was basically like, I appreciate the feedback. Basically what the audits are is general to root problem solution. So basically what she's saying is that all content creators on a general basis have the same root issue, and that's why our audits are the same. But then I wouldn't call that a personalized social media audit if you were just going to tell me the exact same thing that you told somebody else with a whole different kind of platform. Skip past that BS. Woosah, because I'm getting worked up. When I received that email, I had this feeling, and I had said to my friend Ange, do you think she deleted my review? And I go on her profile, and she had deleted my review. That's when it clicked to me. I was wondering why I was so upset by this audit, and there was all these other people who weren't with these 5-star reviews. How many reviews did you get like mine that you deleted? And as another business owner, that is such fucking bad business. Like as a business owner, if somebody left me a review like that, very nice but very honest, I would have looked at that and been like, okay, I need to fix some things. I'm not giving satisfactory work. Even if 1,000 people like it and 2 people don't, okay, well now I know that people like this don't like it. I can adjust it however. But you then send me a BS email trying to explain the reason why the audits are the way that they are, trying to justify that you send templates out with a little bit of a tweak for almost $100, let alone that's on sale. So you actually sell this for $228. You sell a template for $228. You're a money grab business. You delete anything under 4 stars. How fucking shady is that? Really, I'm getting stress hives. As a business owner, I don't get it. Constructive criticism is what grows a business. It's what tells you what works and what doesn't work. I didn't email back. I just unfollowed the girl because when I tell you that me and my friend looked up to this girl for so long, we loved her content. We loved the little tips and tricks she gave us. And so when we ordered this audit, we were so excited, and to be so let down and then to see the true shady side of her, I was like, wow. I wonder, God forbid, how many other content creators have come to you for those audits and got their reviews deleted. Nobody likes shady business, especially not here on social media. So moral of the story, if you're a content creator like myself, please be careful of the people you look up to on this app. Please be careful of the things that you buy from people on this app, because I went and looked at the reviews and thought they were amazing. All I saw was amazing reviews. Come to find out that the bad reviews get deleted. At this point, I don't want my money back. I don't want a new audit. I don't want anything. I'm going to be very transparent with my audience about what happens to me, because it could always happen to them. And God forbid, I hope they never get an audit from you.
Can't sleep, so I want to tell you what's keeping me up at night. So my grandma gave me asthma, but not like fucking genetically. I mean fucking literally. Basically, when I was a kid, my grandma loved to smoke hookah every single fucking morning. And basically every morning she would be like, I would wake up and she'd be like, oh, can you take this to the kitchen, right? So, but I would always sneak a puff, right? But obviously horrible, don't do that, whatever. But one time she caught me. She's like, yeah, Haiwan, what are you doing? Like, you fucking animal, what are you doing? Blah, 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 like yelling at me, right? And this was in Jordan. So I just look at her and I was like, oh, like, you do it all the time, why can't I? Long story short, I don't know how, but she was just like, fine. She lights up a new one and she's like, here, take a puff. She didn't make me. I asked for it. I take a puff. I start coughing. Obviously. She's like, see? This is horrible for you. Blah, blah, blah. But now I can't breathe anymore. Like, it's starting to build up. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? But I don't want to admit defeat because I'm a fucking stubborn bitch. So I was just like, okay, fine. Like, I'll let you have this one. But, in the future, you're going to let me blah, blah, blah. Whatever. My mom comes in, picks me up. And in the car, I'm like starting to feel that, but I don't say anything because I'm like, I still think I have hope in the future, I wake up the next morning and I feel like shortness of breath. Now, I'm an infamous liar in the fucking family. No one believes me because I always try to get out of school. I'm always like, I have diarrhea, I have this, whatever. So we get in the car and we're getting on our way to school. And now I'm like, this nostril, I can't breathe out of it. And I was just like, oh my God, Mom, I can't breathe. My mom's like, shut the fuck up, don't lie. We're going to school, regardless of what you say. Now the other one's like closing, and I'm like, Mama, I can't breathe. My mom is just like, okay, what is it this time? Do you have the amoeba virus? I was like, Mama, I literally cannot breathe. Now we're almost in the parking zone, and like, now I can't breathe out of my throat. And I'm like, Mama, I can't even breathe out of my mouth. And she's like, listen, I don't care what you have. You are going to school. I don't care what you have. When the nurse tells you to go home, I'll pick you up. I don't care. You're going to school. And I was like, okay. So I go to school. Within 10 minutes of math class, I'm literally like, so, they take me to the nurse's office. I don't know why, but I had a Russian nurse. Russian nurse speaks Arabic. Fucking random. I don't know. She looks at me. She's like, Habibi, what's your problem? What's wrong? Blah, blah. I'm like, and she's like, what's wrong? Habibi, what's wrong? I'm like, and she's like, oh, asthma. Let me call your mother. She calls my mom. I've never been diagnosed. She calls my mom. She's like, hey, your son has problem breathing, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, he's been lying, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm pretty sure he has a problem breathing. And my mom was like, shut the fuck up. My mom starts driving Tokyo Drift. She picks me up. I pass out. I don't remember anything. Next thing I remember, I wake up in the hospital and I'm just like, you know what I mean? And I just see my mom. She's like, Habibi, oh, I'm so sorry I believed you. But Haiwan, this is what happens when you lie every single time. You're like the boy that cried wolf. Do you know what's wrong with you? This is what happens. I'm waking up in the hospital right now and I'm like, bro, I just woke up from
Storytime about my psycho boyfriend and backstabbing best friend. So a little background information, I was 17 and in 12th grade, and we're going to call my best friend Sheila. And she had just met this guy who was, quote, the love of her life on this vegan Facebook page. Well, the one day while they're on FaceTime, his best friend Brad saw what I looked like and he wanted my phone number. Fast forward, she gives it to him and I start talking and we hit it off instantly. I definitely thought that he was boyfriend material because even though we lived like 5 hours away from each other, we would Skype for like 9 hours a day, every day. Fast forward to my birthday, we make things official, and he wanted to see me for my birthday, so he decided to get a hotel room for us. So finally, him and I meet in person, and we end up doing the nasty, and it was terrible, but he was my boyfriend, so Well, after this, he ends up becoming weirdly obsessed with me. He starts saying things like the next time that he comes and sees me, we're gonna get married. After talking to Sheila about it, I decided to break things off with him, because things were moving way too fast, and it freaked me out. After I told him this, he started sobbing. He was like, I wish I would have got you pregnant so that way you couldn't leave me. And I'm in shock because, dude, it has been 3 months. You need to calm down. Like I said, Sheila convinced me to break up with him, and I did. Fast forward, Sheila becomes super distant with me, and she's posting stuff on her Facebook like, oh, when your new boo gives you his hoodie. And her man had broke up, so I texted her asking who it was about, because I'm her best friend, duh. Finally, a few days later, after she was done avoiding me, she decides to answer with, we need to talk. I slept with Brad, and now him and I are in love with each other. And I'm like, what the hell happened to girl code? Like, yeah, I didn't want him, but at the same time, you're a snake. Like, ew. Anyway, so then she starts saying things like he's the best boyfriend, and the reason why I'm single is because I wasn't appreciative of him. I ended up messaging her ex and telling him what happened, and to get our get back, we slept together. Fast forward a month goes by, and then I get a text from Sheila and Brad on the same day saying that they broke up because both of them cheated on each other. And it was quite comical because Brad's like, yeah, you were the best girlfriend I ever had, and then Sheila's like, yeah, you were my best friend. I don't know why I would do that to you. I told both of them to F off, and then I told her ex what happened. So him and I laugh about it, and then 2 days later, I get a text from him saying that him and Sheila are getting married. Yeah.